corridors wind through the fortress schools of Wallach IX, walls lined with incense and echoing with whispers of destiny. In these halls, young acolytes of the Bene Gesserit memorize bloodlines the way others recite prayers, learning that each of them is a living piece in a centuries-long game. Their teachers speak softly of purpose. Humanity teeters forever between brilliance and self-destruction, and somewhere in that balance, the sisterhood must plant one perfect seed, a male whose mind can bridge space and time, a Kwisatz Haderach whose prescience will reveal every hidden path and steer the species clear of doom. To reach him, they will bend marriages, quietly manipulate heirs, and even shape religion itself. Generation after generation, a reverend mother consults dusty legacies and cellular charts. A daughter from House Corino displays a latent instinct for leadership. A son from a minor Talagari branch survives plague with uncanny resilience. A Vernier scion of Ix adds quick mechanical insight. An Atreides child shows conscience that cannot be taught. Each trait is a jewel to be saved. The sisterhood arranges concubines rather than wives, so inheritance can be influenced without provoking legal war. Affection rarely enters the calculation. When a chosen woman enters a noble's bedchamber, she wears the calm smile of duty, knowing the child conceived that night may shift 1,000-year design. Early in the program, Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam takes a task she will never speak of to anyone outside the order. She must bear a daughter by Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, a union repugnant to her but necessary to blend two volatile lines. The Baron will never learn the child's fate. Mohiam returns to the sisterhood, her pregnancy hidden behind layers of protocol, and in time a baby girl is delivered into secret fosterage. She is named Jessica. Placed in service to Duke Leto Atreides of Caladan, Jessica receives a single imperative. Bear a daughter who will be pledged to a young Corino prince, uniting the last pieces of the puzzle and producing the Kwisatz Haderach in the next generation. Yet the rigid plan meets the unpredictable force of love. Jessica gives Leto a son. In the instant Paul Atreides draws breath, the Reverend Mothers feel the shock ripple through their communal awareness. A male has arrived a generation early, untested outside their leash. While the sisterhood debates damage control, hidden consequences of earlier moves emerge. Mohiam had laced the Baron's genetic code with a subtle degenerative weakness to limit Harkonnen influence, a slow vengeance that blooms into his grotesque obesity. That private adjustment feeds the Baron's hatred for House Atreides, a hatred the sisterhood later exploits to push political events toward chaos in hopes of forcing Paul onto the golden path they have not fully foreseen. On Arrakis, the plan twists again. Jessica's defiance sets Paul among the Fremen, a people already seeded with missionary legends by Bene Gesserit agents centuries before. Prophecy speaks of a Lisan al-Gaib who will lead them to paradise. The sisterhood intended to use those myths as a safety valve for their chosen male. Paul seizes them instead, turns them real, and walks into the desert where spice-saturated winds howl like a living god. He drinks the poisonous water of life, a ritual meant only for a reverend mother, and survives. In that agony, male and female memories burst open. He stands at the intersection where even the sisterhood cannot follow, and sees futures branching like lightning. Reverend Mother Mohiam kneels before the boy she once tested with the Gom Jabbar, reading truth in his aura of power. She hears him whisper, "I hold at your throat the means to destroy you," and knows the breeding program has slipped beyond command. Yet the sisterhood adapts. Princess Irulan is pressed into a political marriage with Paul. Through Irulan's womb, the Bene Gesserit hope to regain a measure of influence over the future. Years pass. Aaliyah, Jessica's preborn daughter, grows brilliant and dangerous, proving how fragile the line is between superhuman insight and spiritual possession. Paul's rule unleashes a jihad sweeping across the galaxy, killing billions in his name. Within the corridors of Chapter House, the sisters record casualty reports alongside genetic charts, convinced that even catastrophe serves a larger calculus. A humanity tempered by suffering may at last be ready for survival without artificial gods. But the Sisterhood's victory is temporary. Paul's son, Leto II, merges with Sandtrout and becomes the God Emperor, an immortal tyrant binding the future in his own cold grip for millennia. The Bene Gesserit adapt again, nurturing secret bloodlines, waiting for the moment his reign will end and their breeding program can resume. They weave in the genetic strength of Duncan Idaho Golas, honored Matra fugitives, even renegade Tleilaxu tricks. Always the same hidden prayer drives them, that somewhere in the statistical fog lies a balanced human who can perceive all futures without falling to tyranny. To outsiders, the Sisterhood appears a monolith of calm capability. Truthsayers, concubines, sabotaged wives, desert prophets, unseen legislators of history. Inside, every Reverend Mother holds intimate recollections of thousands of female lives, ancestors whispering advice, urging caution, mourning the Program's many dead. They remember Serena Butler, whose infant martyr sparked the Butlerian Jihad. They remember the unnamed concubines who died in childbirth because a specific recessive gene would advance the plan. They remember Lady Jessica alone, on a rainy balcony, choosing love over command and hurling the Sisterhood into uncertainty. Throughout 5 more millennia, they guard a commandment carved from grief. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind. Yet they have spent those same years making a human mind in the likeness of a god. Each time the design escapes them, they recalibrate, insisting their ultimate motive is human survival, not domination. They cling to a paradox. Only absolute guidance can prevent absolute tyranny. On a windswept plain of Chapter House, a new postulant kneels in the sand, reciting bloodlines stretching back to the jihad. Mother Superior Odrade walks beside her and murmurs, "We row a river that changes its own banks. Our oars break, yet still we row." The postulant looks up and asks whether the Kwisatz Haderach will ever truly be theirs to command. Odrad smiles with weary eyes and replies, "We may never hold him, child, but we must be ready when he walks the shore." The Sisterhood's records close the entry with a single line of quiet faith. The breeding program continues. Click below and reward yourself with another fascinating and exciting story.